I started feeling very fatigued, and technically I was anemic. Sperm will actually soften the cervix and make it dilate way faster. My husband was thrilled about that one. Tomorrow I actually am having my birth kit delivered. Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am 38 weeks pregnant, which means that I only have 2 more weeks until I'm full term, but baby could potentially come this week, next week, the week after, maybe in 2 weeks. We'll see when baby decides to come, but I wanted to go over some of the things that have been happening this week and give you my little weekly update, since this may be the last one, we don't know. If you're new here, I'm a girl mama to 2 little girls, and I'm pregnant with our 3rd surprise gender baby, which we'll find out what the baby is in just a couple of weeks, and I cannot wait. I have a passion for living a fulfilling life in the season that you're in, especially in the season of motherhood, and not letting go of your dreams even while you're being a stay-at-home mom and being there for your family. So if any of the topics of homemaking, interior design, or interior decorating, or mothering interest you, then you're in the right place. I do have a question before we get into today's video. I've been wanting to connect with you guys more and really put out valuable content that you love to watch. And so my question for you, which you can answer down below in the comments for me, is what is it that brings you back to my channel? What are the things that you love to watch that I have been making over the last year that you absolutely love? Whether it's vlogs or whether it's things that you love to learn about being a mom, or certain things that, you know, I've gleaned along the way and I give you my little tips. Basically, I want to know, number 1, what is it that brings you back to my channel? What is the value that I've provided for you in the past that you would love to know more about? And then, like, what are your interests? What are your current interests in life that you maybe have seen on my channel, seen on other channels? Because I'm really trying to hone in into my target audience, if that makes any sort of sense to you guys. I just want to make really good content for you guys, and because I'm here to serve you. So let me know down below, and I would love to know what is something that you just really enjoyed from me. All right, 38 weeks. So a little bit of backstory here. Bethany was born, my firstborn, at 39 weeks and 3 days, and Adeline was born at 38 weeks and 3 days, which is exactly 3 days from today if my due date is correct. So if you haven't seen my other videos, this baby's due date was actually changed by 3 weeks, almost 3 full weeks. So I was going to be due the beginning of January, and when I went in for my anatomy scan around 23 weeks or so, the tech let me know that the baby's growth measurements were actually lining up a lot closer to being due a lot sooner than we had expected. Now, that doesn't surprise me because I hadn't been tracking my cycle. I did not track my last cycle that I had, and so I couldn't really figure out when I had my last period, and hence so the dates could be drastically off. Now, my cycle before I had my girls used to be very irregular, and then after I had my second, it started to get more regular, and then that last cycle I think might have been off. Like, I think it wasn't exactly 30 days or close to 30 days, and so I really don't know when the baby was conceived. Going off of dates, my due date is in a couple weeks from today. So all that to say, because my due date is drastically different from what we had initially thought, if I do not have the baby before 40 weeks, my midwife is going to send me in to do another ultrasound to check measurements again, because I am measuring slightly below in belly measurements. Then it goes according to weeks. So you measure the belly, and it usually corresponds with the amount of weeks that you are pregnant. So we're gonna check that if baby's not born before then. I really do think I'll have the baby before 40 weeks. I've really been feeling a lot of changes in my body in this last week, and we'll get into some of those things as we go on. All right, so as far as symptoms go, I've had this happen a few times, but really I've noticed it more in this week than I have at all in the last month or so, and that is lightning crotch. Now, lightning crotch is like, you know, it does not have a very pleasant name, and that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like an electrical current shooting through your vagina, basically. It's just so uncomfortable, and it happened to me last night again, and it happened a little bit ago, and it basically is just pressure from the baby's head on certain nerves, and it causes like this shooting pain that can sometimes go down your leg, or it can just go through your vagina, or you can feel it like really low in your uterus, that whole zone, like the birth canal zone. So not pleasant, but I have experienced that a couple of times. Not very painful, it's just, it kind of catches you off guard, and it has caused me to like stop in my tracks and be like, ow, you know, like that was a little bit annoying, you know. So nothing too serious with that, but I have experienced that quite a few times. Another thing that I've experienced this week has been, for the first time in this pregnancy, I've been experiencing rhythmic Braxton Hicks. Now, rhythmic in the sense that they're not exactly like consistently coming every however minutes, but they are happening, you know, with some kind of rhythm to them, and they last for like maybe a couple of hours. Now, I know the difference between Braxton Hicks and the difference between that and regular contractions. So I knew they weren't, I knew it wasn't real labor. They're not painful, obviously, but really my other labor with Addie, my contractions were not painful either in early labor. So I don't really gauge them off of pain. I gauge contractions off of the way that they wrap around. So Braxton Hicks just kind of like tighten up the belly, and with contractions, when they're not painful, and really the painful ones as well, because I experienced this with Bethany, but they basically wrap from the back of the uterus towards the front, and then they push down, and they push down considerably on the baby. Your belly will actually look somewhat deformed during a contraction, to where you can literally see like the belly gets squashed almost in the middle, if that makes sense. And you really can feel baby, you know, bearing down on your cervix with a real contraction, whether it's painful or painless. So with the Braxton Hicks, I'm just feeling them kind of tighten a little bit, and they last for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. They're not, you know, very, very long. And then this was happening a couple nights ago, actually. And then it would subside, and then I noticed I was having them like every 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, I need to make note of when these are happening, just in case they get stronger. But they didn't. They went away. I relaxed, and they just fizzled out. So one thing to note with Braxton Hicks contractions is, if you're not sure, if you're like a first-time mom and you're not sure if it's real labor or not, or you're not sure, like if you're believing for a supernatural childbirth like I had with Adeline, where you basically have the baby very easily, very quickly, without pain, which is what I experienced with her pretty much. It is that the Braxton Hicks will go away if you take a bath. If they're real contractions, the warm water and relaxing will not affect them whatsoever, and you will continue to have them at a pretty regular pace. So, and they get more intense. So I knew it wasn't for real because they went away after a few hours, like a couple of hours. And as you can see, I am still very pregnant. Braxton Hicks can also be brought on by dehydration. So if you haven't had enough water, you could start having more of them. But also, if you're taking a birth prep, like a birth prep supplement, or if you're taking raspberry leaf tea, that will also kind of ramp them up a little bit, and you'll notice that you're having more. Same as last week, I am still having cramping a little bit in the front region, lower region of my belly, kind of like right where my cervix is, and it's It's not super painful. It doesn't feel like, this week it hasn't really felt like menstrual cramping like I mentioned last week. It's just been kind of on and off, not anything too considerable. But one of the signs of labor that I usually have when I'm going into labor, and it happened with both girls, is that I start to feel like that burning, cramping, menstrual cramp type, just like a sensation. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's basically, it feels kind of like you're on your period, like 2 hands below your belly button is kind of like that region. And I haven't experienced it very much this week at all. Just been sudden, like, little bit of cramping, and then it goes away. If you remember, I had a very strange phenomenon happen to me in this pregnancy. Has not happened with either one of my previous pregnancies, which was Desiccated, and that is the craving of scent. So I noticed, so I started taking the supplements that my midwife recommended for me last Monday. So it's been about a week and a half, and I've been doing a double dose of Floradix, regular dose of ChlorOxygen, and a regular dose of desiccated beef liver pills, along with everything else I'm taking that. And so I noticed about 3 or 4 days into it, I stopped gasping for breath just randomly while I was standing around. So that was good. That means that my blood levels are likely coming up to the level that they needed to be at. There was just not enough hemoglobin in my blood circulating. So I think that it's getting better. I definitely feel less of the breathlessness that I was feeling. But coincidentally, when I started taking the supplements, like on Tuesday, the day after, maybe a little bit on Monday in the afternoon, I started feeling very fatigued, and technically I was anemic. My midwife did tell me that taking the supplements could actually bring some of the symptoms to light, even though I wasn't experiencing them before. And I think that's kind of what happened, because I started to get very tired, and this whole week I've been kind of like randomly falling asleep sitting down in the middle of the day, which never happens. I've had a lot of energy this pregnancy, but I've taken like 2 or 3 naps while the girls have napped in the last week, which was so unlikely for me. I do nap when I feel tired, but I haven't felt the need to. So needless to say, I started to feel like my energy is coming back, and the other thing that is very significant is that I really am not craving scent nearly as much as I was 2 weeks ago, like a week and a half ago. So that's good. That means that the iron levels are coming up, and I think my midwife might do another blood draw on my appointment day is 2 days from today. So for my 38-week pregnancy midwifery appointment, I think she might do another CBC on me just to see if the iron levels are at the level that they need to be at. Something else that is very interesting that I noticed just yesterday with this pregnancy has been that I have had almost no swelling at all in my hands or my feet. And I had that with both girls, to the point where I couldn't even get my wedding rings off, and I had to just like remove them. And I'm able to even wear my engagement ring along with my wedding ring. And one of them is tighter. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's my engagement ring is a little tighter. But yeah, I couldn't wear them in the final days of pregnancy, and I couldn't wear them for several months after being pregnant. So I've had almost no swelling. And the other thing is I've had almost relatively 0 headaches since about June. I had them quite frequently in the beginning of my pregnancy, but I started taking trace mineral concentrate, or trace minerals, yeah, I guess it's concentrate. It's called Concentrace, that's the name of the brand. But ever since I started taking that, and it has magnesium in it, which I think I was deficient in, and I was deficient in sodium for sure, because I found that out when I went to the hospital for a very severe migraine in June. But pretty much since then, I think I've had maybe 3 headaches. I had one the other day, but I think it was related to how many supplements I was taking all at once, and just some stress related to car troubles and stuff like that. So those are the main things that I've noticed this week, or haven't noticed. I'm not sure why I'm not swelling this time around. Is very interesting to me, because I was pregnant in the winter at this time and at this point 2 years ago, and I was pretty swollen in my hands and my ankles. One other thing that I've noticed this week with my pregnancy is that my appetite has definitely decreased quite a bit. And that tends to happen right before you have a baby. Your body just kind of, I don't know what it is that makes it happen, but you sometimes certain signs of labor can be that you stop gaining weight the week that you have the baby, or you know, have a drastic dip in how much weight you're gaining. So I'm curious to know if I've gained the same relative amount that I do every week, or if I have stalled out a little bit, because my appetite is lower for sure. For cravings, I have been craving kombucha specifically this whole last week, and we ran out and went and got some more. I think I mentioned that in my last video too. It's kind of carried over, but I'm definitely craving sour and savory things, and also things that are very tart, like cranberry sauce and lime and just stuff like that. So I've really been enjoying that quite a lot. It hasn't been great for acid reflux. I haven't had acid reflux that bad in the last couple of weeks because baby dropped, but I'm still having it here and there. So in addition to the supplements that I'm taking to raise my iron levels, I'm also starting to take, or I've also started to take, a birth prep supplement, which has it's from Stork, and it has red raspberry leaf in it, and I think it has something else, but I will link it down below if you're interested. It seems like it's a really good one. I'm also using Primrose oil. Now Primrose oil is really good for your face. It helps with rejuvenating the skin and everything, and mentioned it to my midwife, and I was cleared to use it, but we're using it as a lubricant versus using it like to do perineal massages. Now the reason for that is because I actually tore very badly when I had Adeline. Her birth was amazing, but I did tear significantly because she was born so quickly, and I didn't really pause to push her out. I just pushed her out very quickly, and so I tore like 3rd degree, and 2nd degree, 3rd degree, whichever one it is that you can still repair it and not need to go into surgery. But it was almost to the point that I would have had to go to the hospital to get it repaired. But because of that, I have a little bit of scarring down in that region, and my midwife let me know that if you have scar tissue, you don't want to compromise it by like rubbing it, if that makes sense. So, which I wasn't aware of. I didn't know that that was a thing, but we've been using Primrose oil as a lubricant during intimacy, just to be able to like soften my cervix and really help with that. But also being intimate helps with that, because your husband's sperm will actually soften the cervix and make it dilate way faster, and efface as well. So there's a little tidbit I bet you didn't know, because I did not know that a few years ago, and when I found out I was like, okay, that's great. My husband was thrilled about that one. But I think that's one of the reasons why I dilated so well with Adeline. We just stayed active like my whole pregnancy, and I was at a 7 in what do you call it, in dilation 1 week before I had her. So in this pregnancy, I actually haven't done any cervical checks yet, but I think I might have one at my next appointment. We'll see how low baby is. Definitely can feel baby very low, and we'll see how dilated I am. Now, as far as prep for baby, I'm continuing to read Supernatural Childbirth by Mize, continuing to confess those scriptures over myself, and I have my voice recording that I told you that I did, as far as what I want my body to do, specifically in labor and before labor and after labor, and during birth. So you can look back at my video from last week if you want more details on that. But I am also, you know, prepping last minute things for baby. I have washed all of the newborn clothes and put them away, both boy and girl, and then I have some gender neutral things that I bought specifically for this baby, and then depending on what we need, I'll just store away the other things or sell them. And then tomorrow I actually am having my birth kit delivered, which I ordered just a few days ago, so it should be here very soon. And I was actually thinking about doing like another vlog that has just like birth prep stuff, like home birth prep, what do you need, or doing an unboxing of my birth kit, along with certain things that you want to have in your house along with that, because it has like different you know, tools and stuff that my midwife will need. Tools? Medical equipment? I think that's the proper word. So certain things that she'll need, and then things that I need to do in my house to prep. So I think I might make a video like that. Let me know if that interests you, and if you'd prefer to have it in vlog form or video form, and then I can do that. So we'll see if this is my last weekly update, or if I still have 1 or 2 or 3 left. But if I'm still pregnant next week, I will make a 30-week update video, and if not, you will know, I guess, that I've had the baby. If you want to keep up with me, follow me on Instagram, because I definitely will post there first before YouTube, just to announce babies here, announce the name. We actually have a name picked out for a boy and for a girl. I might do one more like baby names video, because those are so fun, and we went through a lot of them trying to come up with this baby's name because we had to go through girl names and boy names, and it was a lot. we have a first name, middle name for a girl, and first name, middle name for a boy, and both of them are very, very, very solid, cute names. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for sticking around to the end, and don't forget to leave me a comment down below with what you want to see from me in the future, and I will be sure to consider that. If you're new here and you've stuck around to the end, you're the real MVP, and I would love to have you join the fam of lovely ladies that are all a part of this growing community. And I want to thank you for watching this video, but I will see you very soon in another video this week. Have a great day, you guys. Bye. Real quick before we end the video, I already did the outro and everything, and I always forget to do a bump pic. I don't know what's wrong with me. So let's do that real quick. Here is baby. As you can see, we put up our tree back here, but here's baby. Baby's very low and getting very big and very heavy. It's actually been quite difficult to get off of the ground when I am on the ground. There you have it.